Hello, my name is Helen Ziavras, and I'm the president of the Thalassemia Foundation of Canada. I've been involved with the foundation since its humble beginnings, where we organized the very first dance in the basement of St. Matthew's Catholic Church. Fast forward 30 years, and here we are tonight. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you tonight's video as we take a journey with two of our patients with very different circumstances to show you how we grow and prosper with your health. Also, you will hear from an expert hematologist as to how we have grown over the years to where we are today with cutting-edge research bringing us closer to a cure. I'm incredibly proud and honored to be a part of this very special celebration tonight. Thank you and congratulations to each and every one who has helped in any way, shape, or form to make this a successful annual event for the Thalassemia Foundation of Canada. I look forward to many more events such as this. Again, many congratulations for reaching this milestone.
Hello, my name's Dr. Richard Ward and I'm the Medical Director of the Red Blood Cell Disorders Clinic at Toronto General Hospital. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to offer the Thalassemia Foundation of Canada my very hearty congratulations on their 30th anniversary. I would like to take a few minutes this evening to highlight the progress and the wonderful news that we've seen for our patients over the last 3 decades.
My name is Nesrin Berrak, and I'm 51 years old, and I have thalassemia major. My parents found out that I had thalassemia when I was about 2 years old, and we came to Canada in search of treatment for thalassemia. They came from a country that where my parents were told that I would not survive past the age of 12. The one thing that they were happy about was that the Thalassemia Foundation of Canada was giving hope to thalassemia patients here. And the support that they receive and the donations that they received made the funding for all these new drugs possible and the research for these new drugs possible.
So if you look back to when the foundation first started 30 years ago, the story of thalassemia is very different from what it is today and not nearly as hopeful as it is for patients that I see now in clinic.
It wasn't the easiest growing up with thalassemia as a teen. At the age of 11, I started Desferal. It was 12 hours a day of infusions. It burned, it itched, and you could be suffering for hours every night. It was one of the most difficult times of my life.
Nowadays it's all about living with the disease and having a normal life as far as possible and not being defined by what you're living with and what you're suffering from.
Desferal was one of the first treatments for thalassemia and iron overload. And X-Jade, L1, and Jade New, they're simple to take. They changed my life so dramatically that my husband and I decided that we were ready to have children. However, we didn't really want to have our own biological children, and we ended up adopting 3 brothers. I felt like a normal person. I became a mom, and I lived a life without having to take needles every night, without having to attach a pump to myself every night. It was just great. We could go on vacation. I didn't have to worry about needles. We could just spur of the moment say, you know what, let's take off for the weekend with the kids and go to a water park and enjoy ourselves. It was just so dramatic, and it was so emotionally uplifting.
My name is Khalil Berrak-Tinaz, and I'm the son of Nesrin Berrak, and she has thalassemia major. Um, Living life with a mother with thalassemia is, for me, wasn't difficult because I would have fun going to the hospital with her because we would always go out for lunch. Um, but for her, I can imagine how hard it was when she was young. I couldn't have asked for to be adopted by a better mother because she is the only one that stayed with me through all of my trouble. So um, having her as a mother has been great.
I've never heard of thalassemia before. I found out when my family doctor decided to test me, and then I got tested. I found out I'm an alpha thalassemia carrier. And at the second ultrasound for my second pregnancy with my son, we saw that he was sick. We were sent to Mount Sinai, in which they did more ultrasounds and more tests. They diagnosed him with alpha thalassemia major and is missing all 4 of the alpha alleles, which I learned from Timmy. Timmy had. The babies won't make it to pregnancy, and so the doctor wasn't kidding. They actually gave us 3 options. One was to do nothing, but know that the baby was so sick he was going to die, and the doctor gave him 2 weeks. The second option was to terminate the pregnancy, and the third option was to do a blood transfusion in utero.
So thalassemia these days is very much a chronic disease, and one that we help patients live a full, active and fulfilling life with. Our aim nowadays is for patients to have a normal life expectancy, and really apart from coming for their monthly blood transfusions and taking their chelation medication on a daily basis, we hope that they have a normal life and can enjoy life to the full.
I think we're very lucky to be in Canada to have access to this clean blood. I think we are very lucky to have access to these medicines, the iron chelators, the Desperal, the X-Jade, the Jade New.
Some of the highlights of recent advances include drugs that can reduce the need for blood transfusions by up to 50%, new iron chelation therapies over the last 10 years that have made it easier to take the medication on a daily basis and to normalize their disease. And most exciting of all is the prospect of a cure for every single patient. So up to recently, the only cure has been a bone marrow transplant, which unfortunately is not available to most adults and requires that you have someone who's a match for a bone marrow.
While I'm too old for the gene therapy, I'm really excited about it for the young generation that's coming up, for the children and the teens that could literally be cured of thalassemia.
Gene therapy has the advantage of providing a cure for every patient, because the patient themselves are the donor. And what we very cleverly do is manipulate the stem cells, the key DNA, the key messaging in the body that makes the thalassemia, and it corrects that message to make normal blood cells. And so by using gene therapy, we can correct the defect that causes the thalassemia, and we can get rid of the thalassemia as a curative treatment for every single patient. These trials have been ongoing for a year or 2 elsewhere in the world, in Europe and in the US, and that we have recently started to explore being able to offer this to patients here in Toronto as well. And that's obviously something we're very hopeful about for the next year or 2 for patients here in Canada.
As a parent, you want the best for your kid, and so that was one of our big concerns. Now that he's 4, and he gets to do everything that his sister and his cousins can do. He plays with them. He runs around with them.
Yeah, he's a real boy.
Yeah, and
yes.
the only things that stop him are the moments when we have to give him his nightly infusion needle. And so he's got a little bit of pain, stops playing for about 5 minutes, and then he's back to it.
Yeah.
He just has a backpack on now because that's how he carries his medicine. And then every 3 weeks, we come to sick kids, and that's when he gets his blood transfusions.
Thalassemia is not a bad thing. I think it's made me more aware of how to communicate with my kids and teach them that, this is a hard life, but as long as we accept it and we embrace it together, it's not a bad life. Like, this is our life now.
Yes. But aside from that, he does everything that his sibling does. He does skating lessons currently, just finished swimming lessons, he's done gymnastics. We have to plan our work and vacation schedules around his transfusion times, because he does need it every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so when we went to the Philippines last, we had a separate piece of luggage just for medication.
So as we're all here this evening to celebrate the Thalassemia Foundation of Canada's 30th anniversary, it would go amiss if I didn't mention the contribution that they have made over the last few decades. So what we do as clinicians is just part of the story, but the Foundation has been instrumental in providing emotional, psychological and practical support to patients and families over the last few decades. I would like to thank the Foundation and encourage everyone to continue to support it to their fullest abilities. Have a wonderful evening, enjoy the celebration, and we look forward to future positive outcomes for our patients.